Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.
Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Undercurrent in our brand new series, which now finds us in season number 5. That's certainly quite an achievement. I'm Christy Molliker. Well, first up on tonight's show, Nikita Dixon looks at the real estate market through the eyes of a landlord.
Stolen furniture, broken fittings and months of unpaid rent. These are just some of the pitfalls of being a landlord when tenants don't hold up their end of the bargain. These kinds of nightmare tenants are taking their landlords for a ride, leaving them thousands of dollars out of pocket.
A tenant living in a property has a lease, and what their obligations are, they're fairly broad, but in a nutshell, they have to keep the place reasonably clean, they have to pay their rent, and they have to abide by whatever conditions are in the lease. The landlord is legally obligated to manage the tenancy in a way that's compliant with what is required by the Residential Tenancies Act. Now, that places certain obligations on the landlord as well as the tenant. The problem is landlords quite often don't know what those obligations are, and conversely don't know or might not be aware of their full rights.
Troy SABETTA is one such unlucky landlord who realised 4 months into tenanting his first home that things weren't going as planned.
I've tried to help some people in the past by doing the right thing, helping a young family to have a roof over their head, and yeah, they pretty much destroyed my house. Yeah. A friend of mine and myself, we were going to renovate the property, but it got so bad that we decided that it was going to cost too much money. So we decided to demolish the house and start again, which we did.
Mr. SABETTA is still paying off the damages to his property, and he's not alone. The most recent figures from the Bureau of Statistics showed that over a year, Australian landlords lost around $6.5 billion in rent.
When you go into a tenancy agreement with a tenant, it's just like running a small business, and you should be treating it exactly the same. You should have good risk management practices in place. It's really important that you get landlord insurance to cover yourself should things go wrong, if people don't pay rent or if they damage the property. It's really important to get a property condition report written when you're going into the tenancy agreement with the tenant.
Now, this is a document that essentially lists the state of the property at the time that the tenant moves in or at the time that it is taken. So if the tenant is already in there and a landlord hasn't done a property condition report, it is vitally important. It's the only thing that will see them through court well if it's properly prepared.
Don't let things fester and build up. Once a tenant's behind in their rent, one of the worst things to do is to just put your head in the sand and think that that's going to go away.
Probably the best advice I could give anybody is to immediately take stock. Don't sit and wait for things to keep going. A magistrate has no option but to look at evidence. And if there isn't sufficient evidence, then a landlord is in a position where they cannot justify what they're saying happened. And therefore, their claim is either turned down or greatly reduced.
Landlords can avoid these types of situations by learning of their own rights and taking care when choosing the people that will take up tenancy of their home.
Whilst it's really important to get a tenant into your property quickly, it is more important to get a good tenant. So if you go 2 weeks without a tenant, that in the long run may work out better than if you rush and get somebody who's not suitable. Treat it like anything else, any other big business decision that you make. Shop around, do your homework and make sure you're comfortable with what you get.
It's a grey area. You can get lucky, you can get unlucky. You know, it's not worth guessing or banking on somebody's genuine handshake or word or the way they look you in the eye and say, seen that they're genuine and honest. Because, I mean, this is, you know, your investment that's hopefully going to set you up for the rest of your life.
Tenants can make or break a landlord's dreams of property ownership. Sometimes it pays to be patient, find the right tenant and protect your investment. For some though, starting over won't be an option. I'm Nikita Dixon for Undercurrent.
Well, next up, Jennai Thomlinson takes a closer look at a new government initiative aimed at mentoring our youth.
Recently, Youth Minister Robin McSweeney announced the government's plan to allocate $1.15 million over 4 years in youth mentoring programs. The YMCA's Big Brother Big Sister program is one of the youth organisations receiving money from the grant.
Big Brothers Big Sisters in Perth has been running since 2003. First match was made back then, and it's delivered in Perth by the YMCA. And we currently have about 50 matches in the program.
It took about, I think, between 3 and 6 months to go through all the checks and interview processes before I could be part of the program. Yeah.
They need a working with children check, a national police clearance, and we have to make sure when we're interviewing them we're looking for people that are responsible, stable, positive adult role models.
How did you find out about the whole mentoring thing?
I actually found out through the local press. There was an advert there that I applied for and got through the process to enable me to be a mentor for Jessie.
A lot of them apply online. Some of them call up, hear about the program from the paper, or often from word of mouth from other volunteers. A lot of our bigs aren't parents, so they want to have that experience of working one-on-one with a young person. They often are a bit surprised by the environments that they find young people growing up in.
I certainly value the family upbringing and supportive family network that I've had, and you know, I thought I would like to provide that to those who are less fortunate than myself, I suppose, and give a little bit back to the community.
85% of our littles come from single parent families, and all of our littles come from backgrounds that are creating some form of social isolation in their life. So basically the program is about getting them back out into their community so that they can re-engage in a positive way, doing simple, low-cost activities that all kids are entitled to do as they're growing up.
You get to meet up with other Big Brother Big Sisters? Is there like group things that you do?
Yeah, we sure do, Jessie. We've done a few things, haven't we?
Oh yeah, we're doing a boating thing next weekend, isn't it?
That's right.
Going out on speedboats, I think.
And we've been to the Navy base as an outing, haven't we? And Adventure World as well.
Yeah, that was fun.
What kind of change have you seen in Jesse?
I think he's perhaps opened up a little bit more now since we've been doing fun things together.
People sometimes think mentoring or volunteer programs, well, you know, they're volunteer programs, so why do you need money to run them, you know? But of course there's, you know, when you see the care and the time and attention that it takes for us running programs to make sure that we are choosing people who are okay to be with young people, vulnerable young people, that's where all the time and money goes into the programs, making sure that we're, you know, at the end of the screening, recruiting and training process, you've got quality people who are ready to spend time with young people and then can deliver a mentoring experience that's valuable to the young person.
Would you recommend this to other people wanting to get involved?
I think so, yeah. I think it challenges you as well as provides for an awful lot of enjoyment. I've had a great time doing it, yeah.
They form a friendship, you know, and every friendship that we have in our life has a lasting impact on us.
Youth mentoring programs such as the Big Brother Big Sister run by YMCA provide a great service for the youth of WA. Hopefully with this government grant, more people will become inspired to become involved. I'm Jennai Thomlinson, reporting for Undercurrent.
Well, I am very happy to announce here on Undercurrent we have a brand new reporter. Her name is Lauren Bellini, and this week we sent her out on the streets of Perth to find out if this political circus that's been happening lately means that you would be willing to make a bet on the next federal election.
That's it. Hair, shirt.
Yeah? You want to go? Bring it, Noddy.
Mr. Abbott, Ms. Gillard, decorum, please.
Fuck that.
With Australia being the #1 betting nation in the world, we took to the streets to see whether people would bet on the next federal election. Who do you want to win the next federal election?
Not Gillard.
Tony Abbott.
Yeah. Liberals. Yep.
Any reason why?
Yeah, because I don't like Labor. I never have.
I'd rather stay neutral, thank you.
Definitely Julia Gillard. I'm a great fan.
Probably Labor. Mostly because I think Tony is a bit of a prick.
Labor, but not with that leader.
I'm not the ringer.
Not Julia Gillard.
She has no soul.
Ginger pews.
Liberals.
Liberal.
None of them. None of them. They're both crap.
If you were to bet in a horse racing politics race, would you put your money on Julia Spillard to win or budgie smuggler Tony Abbott?
I'm going to have to go for Julia.
Yeah, Julia.
I don't bet.
Would you place one, and who would you place it on?
Maybe Liberal, I think.
Where would you put your money?
Labor. Definitely Labor.
I don't gamble.
You don't gamble? Okay, but if you were to place a bet, who would you bet on?
Rudd.
Who would you place your bet with?
Tony Abbott.
I don't know. Not Tony Abbott.
I'd have to go Tony Abbott, I think.
Tony Abbott?
I agree with that.
And why's that?
It's probably the best of a bad lot, I think. Yeah.
He looks the part.
I do like his budgie smugglers.
Yeah, you might want to get rid of those.
Definitely not budgie smuggler.
Would you put your money on Julia Spillard or the budgie smuggler?
Probably Julia at this stage.
If I was to tell you that you can actually place money on this sort of bet, it's $4 to the Labor Party, which is Julia, and $1.20 to the Liberal Party, would you still keep your money on Labor?
Yeah, probably. I would.
Yeah, I would place the $4 for the Labour.
I don't really like any of them, but I'd probably go Tony.
Anybody else but him?
Why not?
Because I don't think he is sincere.
I don't know, I'm from England.
I'm French.
I haven't got a clue. I'm not from here.
No comment on that one.
I'm American, so I don't know much, but from what I've heard, probably Tony Abbott, anyone but Julia Gillard.
And that you've just gathered that from word around the street?
Yeah, pretty much general consensus.
I think I'll go with budgie smuggler.
Yeah?
I wouldn't vote for him, but it's looking pretty good for him at the moment with the Labor Party in a bit of a shambles, which is unfortunate.
Would you place a bet?
No.
No? Why not?
Because it's obvious Labor's going to lose.
I would say that the Libs would be fairly short odds at this stage. Probably, what, $1.40 or $1.30 or something like that?
$1.20.
There you go.
Pretty close.
Yeah, look, I think the ALP are probably at the lowest point right now. They'll bounce back. And it'll probably be a bit closer than people think next year.
From what we've gathered, looks like the bookies were right, with a slight majority of people backing the Liberal Party to win the next election. I'm Lauren Bellini, reporting for Undercurrent.
Hello, work. Hello, choices. Ooh.
And don't forget, if you would like to have your say on any of the issues covered on Undercurrent, you can find us in the city around about lunchtime on Tuesdays. We look a little bit like that. I'm Christy Mullica. Join me for more Undercurrent after the break.
Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.